Very unexpected news. Loudly crying faced the painful secret of btsv. Loudly crying faced the heartbreaking truth behind his smile. In the vast, glittering universe of K-pop, there is one figure who often feels like an enigma. To the global audience, V is the definition of visual perfection, a man named the most handsome face in the world by various publications, a fashion icon who commands the attention of cameras in Paris and New York. He appears effortlessly confident, possessing a deep, soulful voice that stands in stark contrast to his boyish features. But if you look closer, past the designer suits and the stadium lights, you will find a story that is not about perfection. It is a story about a boy who was kept in the shadows, a young man who had to learn to navigate deep, isolating silence, and an artist who fought to keep his soul alive in an industry designed to manufacture it. This is the human narrative of Kim Taehyung. The story begins far away from the neon lights of Seoul, in the quiet rural fields of Gyeocheong. Kim Taehyung was not born into wealth or artistic pedigree. He was the son of farmers. In various interviews, V has spoken about his childhood with a fondness that hides the reality of his humble beginnings. He grew up thinking he would simply follow in his family's footsteps, tilling the land. The dream of becoming a singer was a distant, almost impossible thought. When he accompanied a friend to an audition for Big Hit Entertainment, he had no intention of participating. He was there to support, not to compete. But destiny is often unwritten. He was scouted on the spot, the only one from his town to pass. However, passing the audition was not the beginning of glory. It was the beginning of a strange and lonely isolation. For a long period before BTS debuted, Kim Taehyung was known as the hidden member. While the other 6 members were introduced to the public through vlogs and social media, building a fan base and an identity, V was kept secret. He had to stand out of the frame during video logs. He could not interact with the few fans who gathered to see the trainees. Imagine the psychological toll on a teenager, standing in the corner of a practice room, watching his brothers receive love while he remained invisible. He later admitted that he felt lonely and anxious during this time, often wondering if he would be cut from the team entirely. He was the secret weapon, but he felt like an outsider in his own group. When he finally debuted, the struggle shifted. V did not have the background of a professional dancer or an underground rapper. He was a raw talent with a voice that was unusually deep and husky for a pop industry that favored high, clear vocals. Critics and anti-fans in the early years sometimes questioned his place in the group. He had to work relentlessly to control his unique vocal texture, often practicing until his voice gave out. He had to learn complex choreography from scratch, pushing his body to keep up with members who had danced their whole lives. The smile he wore on stage often masked a terrifying fear of being the one who messed up, the one who held the team back. The year 2016 marked a devastating turning point in his personal life, a moment that stripped away the idol facade and revealed the grieving boy underneath. During a period of intense promotions for Blood, Sweat and Tears, V was silently carrying a heavy burden. His grandmother, the woman who had raised him for 14 years and whom he loved more than anyone, had passed away. For weeks, he hid this tragedy from the public. He went on stage, smiled for the cameras, and performed with high energy, all while his heart was shattering. It wasn't until a fan meeting that the dam finally broke. With tears streaming down his face, he confessed his loss to the fans. It was a raw, heartbreaking moment. He wasn't V the superstar. He was Taehyung, a grandson who never got to say a proper goodbye because of his schedule. The guilt and pain of that time left a scar that changed his demeanor forever. As BTS ascended to global dominance, the pressure to be perfect intensified. The boy who was once known for his chaotic, bubbly energy began to grow quieter. In the 2018 docu-series Burn the Stage and subsequent content, viewers saw a different side of V. He spoke about feeling burnt out. He mentioned in the Bon Voyage series that he often felt depressed and questioned if he was a burden to the members because of his mood swings. This was the dark side of fame. The constant cameras, the lack of privacy, and the relentless schedule began to drain his spirit. He wrote the song Blue and Grey, a haunting ballad that serves as a direct conversation with his depression and anxiety. In the lyrics, he asks for someone to understand his grey inner world. It was a cry for help, wrapped in a beautiful melody. He was surrounded by millions who loved him, yet verified interviews from this era suggest he struggled with a profound sense of loneliness. But the most beautiful part of Kim Taehyung's story is not his suffering. It is his gentle rebellion against it. He refused to become a machine. He turned to art to heal himself. He began painting, taking photographs, and listening to classic jazz, hobbies that allowed him to slow down in a fast-paced world. He coined the phrase, "I purple you," defining the color purple as a promise to trust and love for a long time. This was not a marketing slogan. It was a desperate, hopeful plea for connection. He was telling the world that he wanted a love that was enduring, not fleeting. People love V not because he is perfect, but because he is painfully real. He is the idol who makes silly faces on national television, refusing to protect his image. He is the man who, according to various fan accounts and staff reports, treats backstage crew and children with the same respect he shows to executives. He wears his heart on his sleeve. When he is happy, he glows. When he is sad, he does not fake a smile. In a plastic world, he remained organic. In 2023, V released his solo album Layover. The title itself was a statement. In a race to the top, he chose to stop and rest. He chose jazz and slow R&B, genres that fed his soul, regardless of commercial trends. And then, he made the brave decision to enlist in the Special Duty Team, SDT, for his military service, one of the toughest units in the South Korean Army. The boy who was once the hidden member, the teenager who cried for his grandmother, was now voluntarily walking into the most difficult challenge of his life, standing tall with a quiet, steely resolve. Kim Taehyung's journey is a testament to the strength of softness. He showed us that you can be sensitive and still be strong. He showed us that it is okay to be different, to have a unique voice, and to march to the beat of your own drum. He taught us that even when you are hidden in the dark, you have the power to generate your own light. As we look at him now, we do not just see a global icon. We see a man who survived the silence. We see a person who learned to embrace his own melancholy and turn it into art. The screaming crowds will eventually quiet down, and the stage lights will dim. But in that silence, there is no longer fear. There is only a deep, abiding respect. A respect for the farmer's son who conquered the world not by changing who he was, but by finally accepting himself. And in that acceptance, he gave us all permission to do the same. The story of V is not a tragedy. It is a quiet masterpiece of resilience.